In a day and age where meeting a potential partner doesn't require you to be out and about anymore, you'd think that meeting someone online would be relatively easy. But dating apps like Tinder, Bumble, and Hinge, which have relied on a ranking system in the past, have made it a lot harder for people to fulfill their desire for intimate and romantic relationships. This is the science behind dating apps. I'm pretty sure a lot of people are wondering who's using these apps. Well, research from the SRS shows that about 37% of users have used a dating app. The other thing I find interesting is that the Pew Research Center report says that 3 in 10 US adults have used a dating site or app at some point, including 1 in 10 who did so within the last year. This is a report that was done last year, so this is pretty recent. Something else the report mentions is that more than half the adults 18 through 29 years old have used a dating app, so it's about 53%. It's also the youngest demographic, which makes sense. Now, depending on how well your profile is optimized and how good looking you are, is going to determine how well you do on dating apps. Another study done by the Pew Research Center showed that only about 28% of the users surveyed who used a dating app reported feeling hopeful between 2018 and 2019. Meanwhile, the other 45% reported feeling frustrated. One big reason behind this frustration could be because many users aren't crystal clear about what they're using the app for. According to a Forbes Health article, about 70% of people who met on a dating app said it led to a romantic, exclusive relationship. However, a 2023 Pew Research study found that only about 10% of people in committed relationships or marriages met their partner on a dating app. Another study by the University of Stanford said that among those likely in relationships, online dating is the most likely way in which they met each other. 40% of couples meet via a dating app, and fewer couples are meeting through mutual friends. If you guys didn't know, around 70% of the users on dating apps are men, about 37% are women. Now with Hinge, it was lower, about 64% of Hinge users being men and 36% being women. With Bumble, it was about the same, with around 67% being male audience and 33% being women. Something I do want to be clear about though, is that the quality of women you'll find on apps like Bumble and Hinge is way better, because apps like Tinder are mainly for hookups and one-night stands. But apps like Hinge and Bumble, women are more picky and they most likely want to pursue something more serious. A clinical professor from the University of Stanford says dating apps give users a rush anytime they get a match. Although the mechanism is unclear, he speculates that a dopamine-like reward pathway may be involved. And the reason they can be addictive is because they activate the brain's dopamine reward system, as I mentioned earlier, which is responsible for influencing feelings like pleasure and reward. The person using the app is going to experience a rush that'll boost their self-esteem. A lot of people have said that the apps are designed to be addictive and frustrating, which frankly, they can be if your profile isn't optimized the best or if you don't look the best. Now, how I'm going to do this is I'll start with the one that's made the most money out of the 3, and then end with the one that's made the least out of the 3. Starting off with Tinder. According to Business Plus, Tinder has made about $1.9 billion since launching in 2012, and they made $1.91 billion last year alone. It's estimated that they'll make about $3.57 billion this year. Coming in at number 2, we have Hinge. Now, last year, Hinge brought in about $396 million, and this year, they made about $284 million in revenue from subscriptions and premium purchases alone. Coming in at number 3, we have Bumble. Now last year, Bumble made about $1,052 million for the first half of this year, and they've made about $268 million in subscriptions and in-app purchases this year. Now, as you can imagine, many users who only get a few matches or dates end up experiencing burnout or dating fatigue. Now, there are a bunch of different reasons for this, but some people say it's a lack of options or abundance of options, but they haven't figured out how to optimize their profile to get the results they desire. About 78% of users experience this, myself included. Now, with the online dating scene feeling hopeless and transactional, how are you expecting to meet or find a partner? Well, what I've heard a lot of creators say is to find groups that are involved in your same interests. You can go out and meet people, you can get set up with a friend, along with some other ways to meet people as well. Now, with my own personal experience, I've had a lot more talking stages, but they never actually turned into anything. I've only had 3, or I guess 2 girlfriends, but I never met either of them really. I've only met one girl on a dating app, and it wasn't really anything serious, but that's really been it. I've never really had anything long-term come from a dating app. What do you guys think about online dating or dating apps in general? I think they can work for some, but if you're an average looking individual, you're not gonna have much luck. I'm not saying they don't work at all or you can't incorporate them into your dating life, but I think you're much better off if you go out and meet someone organically at a place of common interest. If you want something on the more casual side, you can go to a bar, or if you want a girlfriend or potential wife, you can go to places where you can meet people with common interests that are a lot healthier. That's gonna be it for this video though. If you enjoyed it, make sure to subscribe. If you like this video, you'll most likely like this video on your screen as well.